Hello, this is Noreen from Joya Cards, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Yay! For more of my Stampin' Up! Card videos, please click that subscribe button and the little bell, and you'll be notified when my videos release. Also, I give away the demo card, so if you're a first-time subscriber, put your email in the comments and I'll email you back and let you know if you won the card. Also, make sure you watch the video all the way through, because you never know, I might give the card away to anyone, or I might be doing card kits or swaps or something. So anyway, now let's go make a card. Today's card, we're going to learn a really cool technique, actually a couple. We're going to learn how to paint this angel here, and we're going to learn how to do this rainbow. So this is a really pretty set. It's Angels of Peace. It's in the new mini catalog. This is 2021, by the way. I don't know when you're watching this video. It's on page 42. If you need a catalog, just email me, Noreen@joyacards.com, and I'll get that out for you. But it is Celebration too, so anyway, you can get free stuff. If you want to win the demo card and you're a first-time subscriber, subscribe, like, and put in the comments your email and that you want to win the demo card. I can't talk to you without the email address unless your settings are all right. But and if you're already a subscriber and you've never gotten a demo card, you can win too. Just put a comment in my video and say, hey, I've never won a card, and put your email, and that'd be great. Also, on this card, I decided to kind of give it a couple of different sentiments. So we can make an angel card. So I have this, you're an angel here, but then I've also got a piece on earth, goodwill toward men. So you can make it a Christmas card too. And then two different sentiments to go inside, either an angel one or a Christmas one. So I'm going to leave those off because, you know, I think sentiments often prevent you from sending out cards because they're not the right, you know, it's not a happy birthday or whatever. So I'm not going to put them on. So if you win the demo card, you can choose whichever one, or I'll probably put both in there. So let's go ahead and get started. So the base is a 5.5 by 4 1/4 in basic black. And then also from the mini catalog, they brought back the silver. So take a piece of silver as well. And the silver, you want that cut 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And by the way, all my dimensions are in the description of the video. So just click on the show more and I'll bring down everything, and I have all the dimensions, all the supplies. You can even click on the supplies and I'll bring up my Stampin' Up site and you can place an order right there. So, you know, God forbid. Anyway, so you're just going to make it just tiny bit smaller than the card base. But before we put this on, we are actually going to cut right in the middle. And at first I thought I'm going to cut this out because I don't want to waste the foil, you know, because foil's not cheap. So, and then I thought, you know what, I'm going to use it on the inside. So we're going to take scallop contours and we're going to die cut this right here in the middle. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. I cut this piece of foil. Now, quick tip, if you're cutting foil, use a brand new plate or a plate with hardly any scratches, because foil picks up everything. So I just grabbed a new one because the one I use is looking pretty terrible. And oh, my bottom plate, it's the worst. It's awful. So anyway, use a new plate. Now you're going to take this frame you just made and go ahead and snail it up and put it on your card. Now this is just slightly smaller than the card front. So you're just going to, I'm going to have to stick my head in the camera, I'm sorry. And yes, I have red hair. So I'm just going to put that right smack in the middle. And then we're going to take this piece and we're going to put it to the side so you don't get ink on it or anything. And we're going to use it for the inside of the card. In fact, we can go ahead and do that right now because I've already got cut out a piece of Beauty of the Earth, because this, I made it all clouds. I thought it was prettier. And this one you want to cut 5.5 by just shy of 4 1/4. And line it up on the outside first. And you want to just shy of 4 1/4 because when it closes, you don't want anything interfering. So go ahead and do that. Now take that foil piece and snail it up and put it there in the middle. Now for the sentiments, like I said, I went ahead and made a few sentiments. So let's talk about the sentiments. I've got one for angels, and these are both from the Angels of Peace stamp set, and then also one for Christmas. So the one that is the angel one, this circle here is from Tasteful Labels, And the for the inside, this one is from Scallop Contours. And then these two here, the one that goes on the front, so this would go on the front right here, is from Ornate Frames. And this one here that goes on the inside is from Tasteful Label. So your Christmas one will look like that on the front, and then inside, just like so. And then for the angel, it'll look like that in the inside, and this on the outside. And like I said, if you win the demo card, remember you got to subscribe and like and put your email in and say you want to win the demo card. I'll put all 4 of these in the card so you have options. So let's go moving on to the front. Now we're going to take the angel stamp and put your box underneath your Stamparatus. And you really do want to use the Stamparatus because this is a big stamp, and the likelihood of it not getting the whole thing is there. So, and you really want to get her dark as well. So go ahead and take Memento and get her really dark. So I'm going to stamp her a few times just to make sure she is nice and black outlined here. And there's just a little spot here that I really want to redo. There. And so we got her all stamped up. Now we're going to be doing some painting. So I grabbed some brushes with some pretty low bristles on them. I don't want them too big. And I'm going to take this little tray here. And you can use like a block or whatever. But if you've got a nice little tray, that'd be great. And I'm taking the refill of the Whisper White, and I'm going to put it in a few places here. And then I'm also going to grab my Balmy Blue refill, and I'm going to give it a couple of drops. Okay. And then I'm going to use my Daffodil Delight and put it over here, just a drop. And now I'm going to take one of my brushes, and I'm going to go into the Balmy Blue and the Whisper White. And I'm going to make her dress. And I'm going to make her dress a darker blue than her wings, but they're both going to be blue. And get some more white in there and just mix it to the color that you want it. And then the reason why I grabbed a brush with really short bristles is because I want to try to avoid hitting the black lines. So I'm going to just go in here and I've got her a little too dark here. I'm going to grab some more white. Whoops, that's right. Grab some more white. And I'm going to just paint her. And there are lots of ways you can do painting. You can use the watercolor pens and everything. This is just a different way. I kind of like using the refills to paint. So I'm going to paint her dress, and I'll be right back. Now we got that first layer of blue on her. We're actually going to take some white and put some more white on top of that blue. Now, in terms of where you're going to cut, if you notice I nabbed the page right here, that's okay because we're going to cut her out. Now I have a brother scan and cut, so I'm going to scan and cut her. But if you don't, you can just fussy cut her, but that won't show. So here we've got that white with a little bit of blue in it, and I'm going to go ahead and make some highlights and get her a little lighter. So I'm going to do that. I'll be back. So I got quite a bit of this blue-white mixture in her. And she is darker than the other one. Of course, this one's wet too. But get it to the consistency that you want it. I would start lighter and then build up if you need to. Also, if you go over the black line at all, maybe take your pick tool while it's still wet and kind of scrape it off that black line. And if you notice, I switched brushes. I got down to a finer brush, so I could really get inside those lines here and get her a little better painted. So now we're going to go ahead and go to the wings, and I'm going to make them even lighter blue. So I'm going to start with basically almost all white. It just has a little speck of blue in there. and then take off the excess. And then I'm going to paint her wings, also trying not to hit those black lines. In fact, I might make it just a tiny bit darker. Just, you know, do the color that you like. If you like it a little darker, a little lighter. And if it starts too dark, just put white on it. If it starts too white, put some more blue on it. You can build up the color. So I'm gonna paint her wings now, and I'll be back. Now that you've done the dress, go ahead and take, if you don't have one of these Stampin' Rights, these are really good. You can get just the black Stampin' Right, and it's like $4 in the catalog. I'll put it in the description of my video. You can click on it and order it instead of having to buy the whole big pack, which I actually like. If you're a demonstrator, because I have lots of demonstrators that watch my channel, the Stampin' Rights are definitely a good thing to buy. But if you nabbed a couple of the places with the paint, go ahead and trace over with this pen, because it'll really make a difference, because you really want those lines black. Just take it super, super slow. Everything super slow. In fact, when you get to her face, go really, really, really tiny slow, and make sure you have a really good precision brush. So I'm going to go ahead and fix a couple of lines I went over, because I don't want to rush it, and I'll be right back. Now let's go to her hair. I'm going to take that Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to just get it on another little tiny brush like this. And I'm going to mix it in with a little white. Let me get some more white here. I put in another dot of white into my yellow. Mix it up. Get it to the consistency you want. You know, if you want it lighter or darker, if you want her hair different. And then very, very slowly do her hair. So I'm just going to take this brush and get it in there slow. Get right in there. And you just have to barely touch it with your brush. Just barely touch it. Maybe like take the corner of the brush and just those few little bristles, and just get in there and paint her hair. You can start seeing it now a little bit. Just very, 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 very slow. I am like the most impatient person, and this is actually a good exercise for me, because I need to learn to be more patient. And just get in there and try not to touch the black lines. And that's how she looks. And I did like nab a little bit of her hair, so I'm going to just take the black marker and just kind of fix it. But that looks good. And then for her skin, I went ahead and grabbed Petal Pink, the light Petal Pink Stampin' Blend. And I'm just going to do her face here. And, you know, you can make her any color you need to. And going to do her face and her neck and her hand. And if she's just a little too pink, I'm going to go ahead and take my Rich Razzleberry. It's the white one. And what it is, it's supposed to, like, take some of the color out. So if you want to make something a little lighter, grab your Rich Razzleberry. They might have actually called it something else now in the catalog. I'm not sure. Anyway, so just make her a little light. Try not to hit any colors while you do that. And that's her. I'm going to do the bird, and I'm going to use Daffodil Delight, and I'm going to use my Stampin' Right. If you only have your Stampin' Blend, then I would go ahead and grab the light Daffodil Delight. And I know this bird right here, I used Bermuda Bay and Balmy Blue, but on another one I used the yellow and the blue. So I think I'm going to do that again, except I'm going to make the wing yellow instead of the body yellow. And I'm just going to go in there and just take my Stampin' Right and do that, and go ahead and grab a Balmy Blue. I'm going to use the light Balmy Blue and do the bird, the body of it. Now, I mean, it looks terrible because I got all these splotchy things, but we're going to fussy cut this. But before we do, we're going to let this dry, because if we don't let this dry, I mean, it's very tacky. It is full strength inks, so it's still wet. So I'm going to let this dry and I'll be back. So I'm back. Now this is going to take at least an overnight to dry. So I'm going to go ahead and flip this to one that I'd already done. And now I'm going to put it in my Brother Scan and Cut. But before I put it in my Brother Scan and Cut, if you have one, great. If you don't, go ahead and just fussy cut this out. You don't have to worry about the bottom here so much because it's going to be covered up with the clouds. But, and that's for fussy cutting or whatever. But if you're going to use the Brother Scan and Cut, we need to close all the lines. So if you have one, then you're going to need to close up all these little gaps here. So I'm going to take a pencil and just run a line because it just will go to the outside of the piece here. So I'm going to just close up these gaps and I'll be right back. So I'm going to go ahead and try this. Even though it hasn't been 24 hours, I hit it with my heat gun and I'm going to see if I'm going to be able to send this through my Scan and Cut. So I closed up all the little gaps, you know, right around her hand and her hair and everything. So I'm going to put this through my Brother Scan and Cut and I'll be right back. And here's a cut that I just did on my Brother Scan and Cut. So I didn't have to wait the 24 hours. I just took my heat gun to it and dried it up. Now with fussy cutting anything, you want to definitely take the edge of your piece and take a marker and take it on the side here and just give it a black mark all around just to reinforce that outline. So I'm going to do that and I'll be right back. Now that your angel's done, let's go ahead and stamp the clouds. And what we're going to use is the Mountain Air, and it's got a nice little cloud on there. And then we're going to take the Majestic Mountain die and we're going to cut it out. So let's go ahead and stamp these clouds. And you do want to stamp this off, or at least on mine, because my Balmy Blue is rather dark. So I'm going to stamp off and then I'm going to stamp because I want these to be kind of light. And give yourself room to put that die in between and cut these out. So I'm going to do about 8 of them and then take it to the die cutter and cut all 8 out. So there's all my clouds, and these are all stamped and cut in the shimmery white. And now let's go ahead and do the sentiments that we're not going to attach on before we do the rainbow here. So from Tasteful Labels, I'm going to grab the small round one and this one here. From Scallop Contours, I'm going to grab this one here. And from Ornate Frames, I'm going to grab this one here. And so I'm going to cut these out and I'll be right back. So I've got all the tags cut out here, and all the sentiments are from Angel of Peace. So I'm going to stamp in Memento, You're an Angel. And then the next one is Blessings to You this season. And this is going to be in the large one here in Memento again. And this is just to give you options when you're needing a card, you know where to find it. And then we've got Peace on Earth, Goodwill Toward Men. In this square one, it just fits in like so. And then the last one, it really just squeezes right in between. I'm going to have to put my head in the camera, and it's sometimes angels are just good people with kind hearts. So there's your 4 sentiments that you can put in there. And now let's do the finale. Yay, the rainbow. All right, let's get to the rainbow here. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 4 brushes again, one for white, one for Balmy Blue, one for red, and one for yellow. And actually, I also have a 4th color in here, or 5th color in here. It's Pacific Point, just to make the Balmy Blue just a little darker. So I put white in each of the little things here, and I've got Balmy Blue, Pacific Point, Real Red, and Daffodil Delight there. So, all right, the first thing I'm going to do is take the biggest brush here and kind of figure where you want everything first. I know the clouds are going to be down here, and I did like her more in the middle, and I would like to give this rainbow just a little bit more of an arch than maybe that one. So the trick here is we got to lay down some white. So I'm going to take some white, and also you need to grab a paper towel. So I've got my paper towel here, and I'm going to hold on to it so I don't forget to wipe off my brush. So go ahead and grab some white, wipe some of it off, and then start doing your arch here. So I'm thinking like if I start here and go like that. So let's start here, and we're going to be wisping down some white and just make the initial arch. And we might be okay on the white with not wiping it off so much, but just definitely spread it around. And we don't want it too thick, but we don't want it too thin. But white is important that you start out with. And get it all the way to the end. Okay. Wanted to get more of an arch. Okay. And then we're going to put the white brush to the side, and we're going to grab red. And I put these in order how I put them in here so I know where they are. So I'm going to grab another brush, and these brushes are pretty thin, pretty short. So I'm going to grab my red. This is not red, that is yellow. So red is over here. I'm going to grab that and mix it in with a white and turn it pink. Okay. We can always make it darker, so not too worried about it being too light, but just mix that in real good with the white. And then we're going to take the paper towel here and we're going to wipe some off. And we're going to put white, or the red, right on top of the top part of the white. Okay. And then remember where that brush is. So this is my red brush. I'm going to put it right here. Now I'm going to take the yellow. I'm going to take yellow and mix it in with the white. And I only have like a drop or so in each of these. You don't have to put a lot of ink in it. Just a little more white than the color. Okay. I'm going to grab more yellow. Make that more yellow. Mix it all in good. And you can mix these colors on a block if you want to use a block. I just had this thing. I got it at like Walmart for like $1 or something. And then I'm going to take the yellow and I'm going to put it right under the white. And it looks crazy right now. But it'll get there. So I'm just going to put this right here. Grab more yellow. And really it's just kind of getting your colors to where you want them. Okay. And I'm going to put the yellow brush down. I'm going to put that over here. And then I'm going to go for the blue. Now, I did two. I did a balmy blue and I did a Pacific Point just to give it a little bit more. So I'm going to dip it in the balmy blue, dip it in the white, and then I'm going to grab just a dot of that Pacific Point just to give it a different color. I'm going to grab more white. And that's a real bright white, so I'm going to grab some more here. And just mix in my colors. Okay, I'm going to wipe it on my towel here. Still looks kind of crazy, doesn't it? It's like, Noreen, this looks terrible. But believe it or not, it's going to look like this at the very end. There's a trick. And when I was doing it, I was asking my daughter, it's like, does this look good? Because it looked different from that originally. And she said, Mom, it's too out there. And I'm going, yeah, I know. So, so now I'm going to go back to using white. Now I already mixed up all my white, so I'm going to pour in the middle here just some more white. So I've got more white. I'm going to grab my paper towel here, maybe wipe off a little bit. Now I'm going to go on the outline of that red in my white and get a, actually I'm not going to even going to tap off. I'm just going to grab it, put a bunch of white on there. Because what we're now trying to do is mute the color. So I got the white going here. That's over the red. Now I'm going to grab that blue brush. I'm going to try to wipe off as much as I can on the thingy, and then on here, grab another end of that white. Try not to mix up your brushes. And then mute that blue with the white. It looks like heck, doesn't it? I swear it'll be fine. It'll be fine, I hope. Otherwise, I'll just cut it out and make another one, and you'll never know. Anyway, so that, and now I'm going to grab the yellow brush and do the same thing. I'm going to grab another end of that white. Tap, tap, tap. I'm going to mute that yellow. And you just have to, this is the part that you just have to play with. In fact, you might want to take, when you cut this down, this DS paper down anyway, you can take a piece of the scrap and, you know, practice your rainbow on it before you put it on a, your actual piece. Okay, I'm going to put on a little more yellow. And then I'm going to switch over to the red brush, and then I'm going to start mixing the yellow, or the yellow, yeah, the yellow and the red a little bit. I'm going to grab the white brush, get it in the middle of just white. I'm going to do the outside here. Still looks terrible, I know. But there's a trick at the end. Don't fast forward, you'll miss it. I'm gonna do something crazy. And that's what I did when my daughter came in the room and said, Mom, they're too dark. And it's like, I know, what's going on? And then I did something and it changed it. It's like, oh. And I showed her again. She said, yep, that's it. And I went, okay. I'm just trying to get a white outline on my rainbow here. Now, like the angel, this paint is wet. Oops, I mixed. Luckily, that's a dark color. You don't want to mix your colors here. You want to try to keep them separated. The only one you can like mix through is the white. And I'm going to give it a little bit on top. Oh, shoot, got the blue and the red. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead to the trick. You know what I'm going to do? This is crazy. This is what I did to make it all work. So I took my paper towel, and this is full strength paint from the refill. So it's not like anything else. So what I did is I took my paper towel and I smeared it off. Look at that. Ta-da! It's great because a rainbow is opaque. So that's how I did the rainbow. So now let's put the card together. Now before actually we put it together, and after you go wash your hands, make sure you wash your hands. Before you wash your little thing here, grab some of this blue and grab your clouds and like a sponge or something and tap it off. And then just lightly kind of, without putting too much ink on there, lightly color your clouds. Like I said, be careful about getting too much ink. Try to tap off. You can always add more, but you can't take away, you know? So go ahead and do all your clouds. If you're finding that your rainbow is just a little too dark, go ahead and squeeze a little bit more of the white in a little dish. and just take a little brush and go right over the top of it full strength with the white, and then just wipe it off with the paper towel again. So here I've done the white, here's paper towel, and I'll mute those colors more so they're not as bold. So that's how you make your rainbow a little less intense. Now we're just gonna snail that piece to our card front here. Remember, there's just a tiny bit of a silver edge here. And now we're gonna take our angel and we're gonna put her on a bunch of dimensionals. So I'm gonna dimensional her up and I'll be right back. Now, while I was dimensioning her, I'm gonna put her up here. I also dimensioned all the little clouds. Now, some of them I'm gonna want to put on 2 dimensionals and some just the 1. So I'll do these like on 1, and you just layer them up however you'd like. And like I said, you might have to put 2 dimensionals on 1 little cloud. So I'm just gonna double these up here. And I'm gonna put this one down here. And just fit them all up. And I did on this card, I put the sentiment tag on that one just so you know what that looks like. And let me go ahead and do all this. If you want, you could put like a little wink of Stella on here, glitter it up a little bit, even though it's on that shimmery white. It's hard to tell on the video what it's actually doing, but it is actually doing something. And that's the card. So like I said, if you want to win the demo card, like and subscribe and put your email address in the comments and say, oh, I want to win the demo card. And if you're one of the first 2, you'll win the demo card. So that'll do it for me. Thanks. Bye.